We're live. We're so back. Welcome to episode 2 of Heebs with Brews. I've got my NA beer as usual.
I got my
About to go to sleep.
absolutely nothing.
He's empty-handed.
I'm
Got younger brother
empty-handed
Emil
as
here.
well.
Cheers, my friends. Cheers. Welcome to the pod, Emil. Our very first guest, the very first addition to Heebs with Brews lore. And
Blowing
I
those
think I want to
sick
start off our discussion with
ghosts.
what?
No, I was saying, bro's blowing some sick ghosts, right? Ghost inhales. Bro, I can't remember. I'm too old for this now. Чтоб ты не смел курить, as they say.
Да, даже не думай. Про такие мансы бойдем. Такой трек.
So, anyways, without being too Russian grandma, what's on today's topic or table for discussion?
I made the awful mistake and hopefully blessing of buying an old BMW.
Oof,
I got a 99 Z3 M Roadster.
beautiful
And-
car, but I gotta say congratulations on entering true financial suicide.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna get to because it failed smog and there were surprisingly only 5 manufacturer codes that popped up when they plugged in the cable. So that's not that much, but also there's a lot of just tiny little things that got to be dialed in. But I'm very excited. It drives well. That's the important thing. It drives well. It drives right.
You know what? It's
mechanically,
the
pretty
golden
sound.
age.
This
It is
fucking this guy
golden
right
age
here,
of
Emil,
BMW.
he's a bit of an expert himself.
Is he now? Do you care to share your insight?
My insight is that it's a shitbox.
Bro doesn't know shit. Golden age of BMW, 74,000 miles. It's a beauty. So what? It has a few problems. It's a survivor.
You should just dox me with the VIN number at this point, eh?
I like how affordable it was to acquire. It's one thing that I like about it.
And how unaffordable it will be to remain acquired.
Yeah, and the best part about both of those things is that if I put in about twice what it's worth in parts and repairs, it'll only go up in value about $1,000,
Or go down $1,000.
maybe even that. But we'll see what Cars and Bids has to say in a few years.
You know what? That is basic, like how you make money. This is economics 101.
Speaking of Cars and
How
Bids,
you lose
today's
money.
podcast is brought to you by Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer and Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you, all three. This is the last time we'll be accepting vanilla sponsorships like this. From now on, we are only accepting sponsorships from evil corporations with known human rights violations like child labor and things of the sort. And we will also be accepting sponsorships from heinous terrorist organizations and evil dictatorships.
And thank you, Hamas, for sponsoring the previous episode.
Thanks again, Hamas.
This episode is brought to you by Hezbollah.
No, Ira, it's Raid Shadow Legends.
My bad. Raid Shadow Legends.
The best mobile game there is.
Anyways,
I'm actually just shilling for Raid Shadow Legends. I've never played it. I'm more of a Clash Royale guy myself, but
I'm more of a Fortnite guy, if I gotta be honest. We gotta hop back on.
I remember
Not the
CS:GO and
Pakrekets.
Fortnite. You saw how they added that shit.
What happened? No, I haven't played Fortnite in like months.
They added a Counter-Strike game mode by Epic.
That's sick, bro.
You gotta hop on.
I will
I can
plan on
second
that.
that it's pretty fire.
Well, I got no one to play with. We haven't played in months. I've been telling you to hop on, but
Don't worry, brother. We'll get after it.
Eventually.
Dude, I started reading this book, The 50th Law, Robert Greene and 50 Cent.
Really?
Anyways, that was That was a little textbook falling on my desk. Yeah, I read textbooks. What's up?
Is it
ladies?
the
What
50th
do you
law
want
of
to do?
what? Because I got the 48 laws staring at me right now.
The 48 Laws of Gooning is probably the most overrated book ever.
It's not bad.
Probably
It's not
behind
bad.
How to Win Men and Influence Cock in Your Mouth, and uh, also that book about small talk, small cock.
And then there's the other one. It's like think and grow bigger balls, I think.
Yeah, Think and Grow Gay. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that
that
one
one.
too.
I couldn't remember the name.
All those
Yeah.
self-improvement books actually suck, and don't read them unless you want to be a grindset entrepreneur that fucking gets interviewed for TikTok clips and clip farmed. And I mean, probably makes more money than me, but fuck you, those books suck, and I'll die on that hill. The 50th law is about being fearless. It's basically, so far I've gotten into why you have to be a realist and not a dreamer, and also
I agree with that.
how fearlessness is the bottom line in winning power games in this life.
What do you think about pessimistic versus optimistic people? Since you want to talk about, since you mentioned realism.
I think you get a lot further when you're a pessimist as opposed to the other one. Or I think it's just good to be positive. Like think about you'll get you'll just do much more if you're positive, I think.
Mr. Allen, Paul Allen.
I totally agree. Like, to piggyback on that, I think the only belief that you really need to have in life is that the universe is overall good. Like that we're trending towards good. Because
So I'll
that's
throw in
what
my
keeps you going.
I'll throw in my little thing on it. So I see myself as more on the pessimistic side of things, but I think you kind of need to have a little bit of a mix of both if you want to be realistic, but still, you know, have a positive outlook on life. Because the reality is, yes, you can paint yourself this picture of this optimal life where you have everything you want, but the reality is that most likely it's unattainable for most people and even for yourself. So, and on top of that, if you really look at it, I mean, I don't think the world is as great as it's portrayed to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm viewing it in not the best light, but I think that with a certain amount of pessimism comes a certain amount of realism.
Okay. Um, I that last part, I'll get to that later, but I think that the world is it's not as peaceful as it's ever been, but life is certainly as easy as it's ever been. And I also disagree with pessimism leading to realism because you can't you can't get something, you can't get somewhere if you don't envision yourself there. Like if you don't plan to get somewhere, you're not going to get there. And the only way to plan something out that far in the future is to have a positive outlook and assume that, you can reach it and that you're not going to be dead by then. And dude, Emil, what do you want to say? I feel like you've got something cooking.
I just want to say, like, as long as you have a purpose and you're just going forward, that's a good positive way of thinking about life. Life is what you make it. Like if you want to sit and like see all this evil stuff that goes on and then think that you're a part of it, even though like the US is a
Put the mic up.
fairly reasonable, like safe place to live. Like you're not part of this like evil world. You're in a first world country. So it's like that stuff doesn't really happen here.
No, that I completely agree with. In fact, I'll add on something else. So when I was on TikTok, I saw way too much of people saying, your 20s are for partying and quote unquote living your best life. I mean, personally, I couldn't disagree with that statement anymore. While yes, you should have fun. I mean, no one likes to have fun more than I do. You still have to put in the right amount of work. Way too many people think that everything's just going to fall into place, which I completely don't agree with.
Yeah, bro. I think the time to have
as with
fun.
any,
I think the time to have fun is when you're in high school because there aren't too many legal repercussions. And also, I mean, obviously don't crash out in high school, but get all of the experimentation and get all the party animal type of energy out of your system in high school. And by the time it's college rolling around or your adulthood, depending on which path you choose to take, um, you can smarten up and get serious there because college is not the time to fuck around. You know, you're
I
paying for
completely
your
agree.
education at that point. You're not paying for it in high school. So I think the time to have fun is in your late teens. And then in your 20s, you got to lock the fuck in and be able to afford a house and raise a family by the
And
time you're
then
done.
I personally believe once you've achieved a certain level of security, then you can start having fun again. But at this time, like this is the most critical point in your life, especially at our age. You're shaping the rest of your future right now. So now
Yeah,
is a
you have the
time to
most time. You have the most time to let your money compound, and you also have the most energy that you're ever going to have in your life. Like the athletic peak for professional athletes comes around 26 to 28, if I'm not mistaken. So, energy is the biggest currency alongside time. Time is
exactly.
on your side in your 20s.
I don't think you should be
So is
channeling
energy.
your energy and efforts into drinking and partying nonstop. I think you should channel that into being productive and trying to shape your future. Well, still, you can still have a little bit of fun, but I think as with anything else, there needs to be a balance. But I would say you want to focus more on personal development as a priority.
Yeah, just don't read Think and Grow Gay. You should actually like develop real skills with experience.
Yep.
And like, reading books is all fine and dandy, but most people don't apply shit to their life. So don't go into learning unless you're gonna apply it. And don't waste your time if you're not.
Emil, so you're a little bit younger than us. What do you think about what Alan and I just talked about?
I like to agree with what you guys are talking about, and I can definitely see that viewpoint. But it's kind of you hear like older people saying that stuff, and they've actually experienced it. So I think like that holds a little more weight to just like digging your way through it. But I'd also like to agree. I think there's a lot of different things to say about this. Like me personally, I think it's good to get a foundation and try and get that grasp onto something that you want to turn into a career so you can have a steady income and reach that final step of being stable, and then you can have fun.
Nicely said.
I also
Very
kind of
nice.
disagree with delaying fun in a way because if you're holding off the gratification of life and kind of stopping and smelling the roses in your brief time on earth until you're 50 or 60, odds are you're not really going to have the health to enjoy
No, I'm not saying delay the
the
fun. I'm
energy
talking about
to
purely
enjoy.
prioritization.
Yeah, like, who the hell are you kidding going to Ibiza at 60? You're not really going to
Bro,
make the most of it.
I'm pulling up to you to San Diego in less than 2 weeks, and we're gonna go see Afrojack and probably not remember too much of the night. No one said that you can't have fun and be stupid, but it comes with responsibility and prioritization. Like
Yeah, keep it to once a month or two. I think that's the
exactly.
way to do it. I think you got to like really fucking earn it
It's
because
like you can almost see it as like ice cream. If you have ice cream like every single day nonstop, you're gonna gain an insane amount of weight. But if you have it once in a while, it's a nice treat and it makes you feel good. It actually, like, if you think about it, kind of boils down to economics in terms of like diminishing returns.
what's the stoner's perspective on this?
I mean, I think you should just, if you have an opportunity to go do something with other people and you don't have anything better to do, I think you should always do that. Just always go do something, see what's out there.
So I think as you get a little bit older, you'll learn that even if an opportunity presents itself, once you get a little bit older, you'll realize that there are more important things, even if you don't see them immediately. Like I know for a fact that I wish if I could go back in time a little bit, I would have prioritized, doing better in school and getting an internship earlier as opposed to going to the bars with my friends who I don't even speak to anymore.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you might want to, do some digital errands, like applying to stuff or
Yeah. But
Upwork.
and as they say, hindsight is 2020. You don't realize it until that it's already gone and it's too late. But you still try to make the most of it. I have like a little bit of a later start, but I'm still trying to get to where I need to be.
Dude, all right, I don't want to turn this into another educational episode. I think that we should talk about
Talk about what you're gonna do to your car.
Yo, what do you
Yeah,
you,
sure.
you guys heard about that fucking Delta airplane crash? The one that ended up upside down?
Yeah, I saw it.
So I heard the dumbest
No.
shit today.
That's good.
So I was in class today. I walk in 10 o'clock in the morning. I had a class, and my professor asked the class because it's like an employee training class, whatever. She's like, "So guys, what do you think? Do you think this is this is a failure of employee training, or do you think it's something else?" So, I have a few hours behind, or about 40 hours behind the controls of an airplane, kind of my thing. So I decided to chime in. So I go like,
Basically
yeah,
a black belt.
basically a black belt in aviation, I would say, yeah. Flown like the fighter jets and whatever in Afghanistan. That was me. So no,
Name
anyways,
every plane. Right now.
bro, I'll go on and on. Don't even try me. I think I'm stupid. No. So my professor goes like, "Yeah, do you think this is a training issue?" So I chime in. I'm like, "Yeah, no, this is not a training issue. It's a complete competency issue." If you watch the video of it, one of the things that in flying in airplanes, right before you touch the ground, you kind of pull up on the airplane so that it doesn't hit the ground so hard. There was none of that. What happened was is the person flying the airplane smacked the thing into the ground, broke the landing gear, and then the thing tilted over on its side and flipped over. Luckily, no one was hurt. So I explained that to her, and she goes, "Oh well, I don't think it was more competency, but like maybe like they panicked because of the wind and everything else." Like, okay, fine, if you want to talk about panic. And she said competency is more so like having like the knowledge of like those skills. Like, okay, so one of the things that you should never do, whether it's driving a car, flying an airplane, whatever, or pretty much anything else that's technically involved, is panic. So if you're already behind the controls of a machine like that and you're panicking, you already have a competency issue.
Yeah.
Right.
And I also think it's an incentive issue, right? Because like airlines treat their employees like shit lately. Like all of the flight attendants that I've encountered have been cranky skanks. And I think the way the way they treat us is the way that they're treated by their employer. I think that reflects pretty obviously. And I wouldn't be surprised if pilots aren't treated much better.
No,
Now,
no, pilots are treated fine. They get paid a stupid amount of money, and they like the schedules that they work are amazing. Granted, it is all based on seniority. So the longer that you've been with an airline, the better the pay, the better the schedule, the better the everything else. But then again, there's a lot of policies that allow for these airlines to hire based on diversity rather than merit, which I don't really want to get into the politics of it. But also, I just want to add in something stupid that I heard today, again, with my professor. She goes, "Well, there were about 80 people on the airplane, and everybody was able to walk away from it. Nobody got seriously hurt. So obviously the pilots did the right thing." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what? You said they fucking crashed the airplane. What do you mean they
yeah,
did the
no, the
right
pilots
thing?
didn't do the right thing. The structure of the airplane did the right thing.
You're
First of
telling
all.
me."
Second of all, if I was on that plane, I would have crawled out, gripping my neck, screaming, "God save me!" and sued the shit out of Delta, dude. That's a free lawsuit right there.
What
Listen,
kind of
that's
fucking
society.
idiot?
Lawsuits
What?
are what hold our society together. It's not the
What?
laws, it's the lawsuits, dude. The threat or the risk of being sued is what is actually stopping people from doing shit,
Bro,
not
I
the
heard
laws
that today.
themselves.
I
And
heard
dude,
that.
you best believe that I am pretending that my legs are both broken and attempting to army crawl off of that plane down the water slide and not getting into a fight with a flight attendant because I would be moving like Geodude, but verbally abusing them for sure and letting them know that I'm about to retire off of this lawsuit. That's
No,
all. Sorry, I'm
bro,
done with
I'm
my
just
skits
saying.
already.
That was probably the dumbest thing I've heard in a very long time.
Alright, did you see
Perfectly good
how much
airplane.
snow there was and how icy the
Perfectly
track
good
was where it
airplane.
landed?
Perfectly good airplane. Some fucking idiot pilots managed to flip it upside down when they landed. And my professor goes, they did the right thing. How the fuck is that the right thing? I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing something, but I mean, they do say like in aviation, any landing that you walk away from is a good landing. But usually, I feel like that scenario is like the airplane is right side up at least.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. All I know is from now on I'm keeping a neck brace in my carry-on.
No, and then she said something else that was pretty stupid. This is more like for people that are more like like mechanically involved. She said that she read an article or somebody posted that the wings are designed to break off. I'm like, yes, the exact thing that holds an entire weight of an airplane, holds the entire weight of the airplane, is designed to break off. Yes,
Maybe on a
that's
Boeing
smart.
they are, but
No, they're not
I don't
designed
know.
to break off, dude. The thing flipped. Obviously, it's going to break. And then she said, "Oh yeah, because the wings hold the fuel, which is true. It's designed to break off so the fuel is contained." I'm like, okay,
Boeing, please sponsor us.
please don't sponsor us, bro.
Is
If
it not
Boeing
supposed
sponsors
to
us,
fall off?
bro, if Boeing sponsors us, we're gonna end up, committing suicide.
Yeah, that's why I want a Boeing sponsorship.
Oh right.
Because I'm trying to test my hand-to-hand combat skills with trained assassins. And I like my odds.
You what?
I like my odds in a melee battle to the death with a Boeing assassin. Not that Boeing hires assassins. No such cases recently. I've never heard of Boeing killing people for speaking out against them. Boeing, please sponsor us. But should someone challenge my life, I think they'll find theirs gone.
Alright. Speaking about doing shit and getting shit done, I gotta go to class.
Thank you for
So-
joining us today.
It was really nice to be here.
Emil,
Good luck.
have a good one. She yok pure.
Crisp enough.
Where's he go to
Keep
school?
it pushing.
Or what's he majoring in, rather?
I couldn't tell you, but he's been most interested in criminal justice and automotive engineering.
Wants to be a cop?
Yeah, and then I think in the short term he wants to work as a BMW technician. He's a
Oh,
big
really?
Beamer guy.
That's sick. So perfect, bro. What do you need? What are you
Ourselves.
taking your car to a mechanic for? Let him fuck with it.
Well, I mean, I needed it inspected. I don't think he knows how to inspect the car yet.
Fair.
I mean, he understands exactly how to get it to pass smog and all that, but
So last week, after our podcast, we were talking. You said we were like briefly talked like on FaceTime about therapy. You want to talk about that or not?
dude, I actually almost rizzed this babe up at the bar when I went out with my boy Eric, who was in town for business, telling her that I want to be a therapist one day. I don't, but
A therapist or the rapist?
the rapist. What movie was that from again?
The Brothers Grimsby.
That's right.
He's like Sacha Baron Cohen's character walks in. Oh, the rapist! I'll save you.
Yeah,
Another
dude.
stupid
But,
movie.
she was pretty bad. She was in Pi Phi at UCSB.
Bro, when I'm
It is
when
what
I'm
it
in
is.
town, we should run.
So,
up,
what did
like-
you want to talk about therapy wise? Because
No, I mean
I
if you
think
want to.
certain forms of therapy are proven to work, but at
I'm
the
talking
same
about the
time,
traditional approach.
the traditional approach being the first wave of cognitive behavioral therapy. Or
No, the
psychoanalysis.
fucking one where you like sit down with a shrink and then like whatever.
Okay, but there's different forms of talk
Well,
therapy.
bro, I'm a business major, bro. I don't. Bro, my therapy is
Okay,
making.
so
Bro,
I guess
I'll
the
tell you right
traditional
now.
approach.
My
Sorry.
therapy is making money and driving fucking fast, bro. Cars, manual transmissions, fucking flying an airplane, and making money is my therapy. That solves all my problems.
I tend to agree that
And the occasional
operating
drink.
heavy machinery in risky manners is a good form of therapy.
Men who are listening, you want a good therapy or something? Operate heavy machinery. That's it. You don't need fucking drugs. You don't need to sit down with somebody. You need to operate heavy machinery drunk.
But also push it to its limit. Don't be like the old cuck that takes his Ferrari F40 or fucking Lamborghini Countach to Cars and Coffee and just drives it 25 the whole time to and from his garage
Was
and
it
just, tries to pick up young girls in it. But yeah, actually drive the fuck out of your cars. Don't be a cuck.
wasn't it Lando who has an F40 and like he lets somebody drive it and they fucking wrecked it?
Yeah, that was Lando Norris.
That was
The
Lando. Yeah.
the soft boy, Lando Norris, the suitcase advertiser, the man with probably the worst haircut in F1.
Bro, we should get
I'm not a fan
RPM.
of Lando Norris. I think
We
he's
should we
very
should get
overrated.
RPM on this podcast.
Yeah, we should have ravioli powered Mussolini on this podcast. I agree.
Hell yeah. Ravioli powered Mussolini. Like it. But anyways,
Yeah, dude.
therapy.
And I'll stave off an army of 13-year-old fangirls, Lando fangirls, with just a broomstick on that opinion because I think he's all car, no driver. I think Oscar Piastri is gonna overtake him as their number one seat very, very soon.
Anyways,
Next year, then definitely once the regulations change.
back to
Oscar
therapy.
Piastri is just a better driver, in my opinion.
So I remember that you mentioned when we spoke on FaceTime that you think therapy is, or I guess talk therapy maybe is bullshit. So I'd like
Oh
to hear your
yeah,
thoughts on
yeah,
that.
dude, that is what we wanted to discuss this episode. How did I
Yes.
forget about that? Yeah. So I think the entire point of therapy is just to get you to come back and maybe if you're unlucky to also hate your parents. Now, therapy is certainly proven to be helpful in certain forms. And if you think you need it, go get it. But you should definitely shop around with who you're going to talk to because, in my opinion, like 80%, if not more, are completely incompetent. Um, I
So
personally
my
went to therapy when I was younger because a dude broke into our house and I was fucking naked getting out of the shower and I discovered this fucking masked up crackhead in our house trying to steal my mom's purse. He did steal my mom's purse.
was he actually naked?
I was naked. He wasn't.
Oh, you were naked. You were naked.
And I had to run to the neighbor's house and
Butt
traumatize them
naked?
too. And my therapist is like, "Oh, you have OCD now." And I mean, fucking wow, brilliant. That took a lot of schooling to notice.
OCD or PTSD?
OCD
Okay.
because I would before this happened and after this happened check around the house and make sure all the doors were locked at night.
I
And apparently that is a symptom of OCD, not a symptom of not wanting your
of
house broken
something
into.
of something bad happened and you're trying to prevent that from happening again. I don't think that's
Yeah, it
OCD.
kind of sounds like it sounds
I don't
like
think that's
learning from your
OCD. I think
mistakes.
it's called something that you do with BMWs called preventative maintenance.
Exactly, dude.
No, that's the thing, bro. Like, that's my problem with the industry. Like, I think you're dealing with people that are totally incompetent that have just sat in a classroom their entire lives, and they don't actually understand. Like, bro, it's like they teach you directly out of a textbook without actually thinking about shit. Like, you just
Yeah, the
told me
road to
that. Like,
hell
you
is
went to
paved
go
with
lock
good
the doors.
intentions.
If I was your therapist, I'd say, okay, so you're just cautious. That's fine. But instead, most of them are gonna be like, okay, you have OCD. Let me prescribe you these drugs, and these drugs. Like you don't need drugs. I think for a majority of people's issues, it can be solved with common sense or dealing with problems like most people do without actually even speaking about it. Like I have my fair share of stuff that I deal with. I've seen things that I don't like repeating. I have lived through things that I don't like talking about, and I'm fine. It comes down to this from what I've seen. And I saw somebody post about it on Reddit. Granted, you shouldn't be getting information from Reddit, whatever, not credible source, but it made sense.
No, actually, everyone that posts on Reddit has an MD and 170 IQ. So definitely get all of your information on Reddit, especially about politics and health.
No. But listen, this made sense to me. So if you're going through something in life, therapy, and you want to change, the therapy is only going to be as good as your willingness to change. If you have no will to change, then that therapy is useless. But if you have the willingness to change, you'll be surprised about what you can accomplish yourself.
100%, dude.
I see it this way.
More.
I see it this way as an analogy, because you just bought a brand new BMW. Imagine you don't know shit about cars. You bought this car, it's an old BMW, it probably needs a lot of maintenance. You don't know shit about cars. Okay, fine. You take it to a mechanic. You take it to a mechanic expecting that you pay the mechanic whatever and they'll fix the problems with the cars or with your car. They'll fix the problems with it. Fine. Now imagine this. You take your car to the mechanic and then the mechanic looks through the car, whatever, says, okay, here's how you fix your car. I'm still going to charge you the same, but here's how you fix. I'm not going to fix it for you. Here is how you fix it. Like to me, and I've sat through one therapy session before early on in college, like one of those free like college resources, because somebody coerced me into doing it. I thought it was bullshit. And I thought it was 20 minutes of my life that I will never get back.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's not necessarily a bad thing that they tell you what you need to fix and how to fix it. It's all up to your willingness, like you said.
Yes.
And I think you can't even develop that willingness if you don't start to tackle those problems on your own.
No, so this is my standpoint on it. This is my standpoint. If you let me get this
I also don't think that showing up to therapy without having done the work assigned to you from the last session is worth your money or time.
No. So if you let me speak.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So no, you're good. Just give me a few seconds. So this is the way I see it. A lot of people think that going to therapy is going to fix their problems. It's not. You have to still fix your own problems. You're just paying somebody to identify those problems for you and maybe tell you how to fix it. But to actually fix it comes down to you. And you don't need to pay somebody to do that. There's plenty of resources, whether it's YouTube, podcasts, books, or even just yourself, because nobody knows you better than you. That's how I feel. And you'd be surprised about how much you can accomplish by yourself.
Yeah.
And with that there's a certain value attached. What
was that?
And I said there's a certain value attached with doing something on your own as well.
Yeah, because post-traumatic growth is just as real as post-traumatic stress disorder. And just a reminder to anyone with any semblance of wisdom, don't mask your problems, don't run away from your problems, especially with drugs or alcohol, which is also a drug, because any sort of relief that you're given in the short term by a drug is going to be the exact problem that it gives you in the long term. Like,
no, I honestly think
for anxiety, it's going to give you anxiety in the long term.
No, and absolutely.
I can tell you that from experience. This meeting is about to kick us out.
No, we still got 4 minutes.
So let's wrap it up.
We still got 4 minutes. No, I was just going to say, people should learn how to embrace the pain, because with pain comes growth. So almost enjoy the That's
logotherapy from Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor, and he realized that the only people that were psychologically okay after being liberated from the concentration camps, and the only ones that made it through, were the ones that assigned meaning to the suffering, and that realized that the suffering isn't for nothing. Suffering is a challenge given to you by, be it God, be it some higher power, or just the order of the universe itself. That suffering is given to you for a reason, and it has significance in your life. So it's not just pain for the sake of experiencing pain. It's something that can make you or break you.
No, that's true. You have to realize that the pain and the suffering that you're going through is only going to make you stronger in the long run, and it's temporary. It's not forever. Well,
yeah.
If you medicate that pain with drugs and other substances, yes, then it can become permanent. But if you embrace it, you take control of it, and you take control of yourself, you'll realize that it's temporary. It's going to go away, and you're going to become a stronger person from that.
Facts.
And with that said, anything else?
Yeah, dude. I think anyone that found any interest in this last segment should definitely look into the work of Viktor Frankl. They should look into the work of Dr. Stephen C. Hayes. In my opinion, the greatest American psychologist to ever live. He's still living now, thank God. He just retired from University of Nevada, Reno, I believe.
I also just want to preface real quick. I'm not saying I'm totally against therapy. And if there are people that might be watching this, even though there's no one watching this other than yourself and I.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Hi, guys. How you doing? So I just want to preface that if you really feel that you need help, you should get help.
Yeah. Like I definitely said that earlier.
This is just my opinion on it.
And I think that doing the research yourself is a little more rewarding. Not that you're certified to therapize yourself, I think is the word. But definitely do some research on your own. Kind of understand where these therapists are coming from, and be a little informed, because it's like a buyer beware thing. That's how you shop around with therapists. Is you have to know a little bit about how to overcome suffering and what to do with it. And
I've also always been a big
therapist
person.
is yapping out of their ass, then move on.
I've also always been a big person of do it yourself before you get somebody else to do it for you. Get somebody to help you.
Yeah, at least experiment.
At least that way you'll learn.
Just not with drugs.
Just don't experiment.
Don't self-diagnose.
But anyways, we got about probably 30 seconds left. It's been a good podcast, and let's wrap it up real quick. I'm Ira. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next Monday for another episode. And right after that, I'll be in San Diego, and we'll film this in the same room.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Alan. Sorry for not giving myself a funny name on the Zoom this time. And once again, thank you to Cars and Bids, Bring a Trailer, and Raid Shadow Legends for bringing this episode to the masses of zero.
And with that said, signing off. L'chaim.